this deal materialized in the shadows. This came out of nowhere. This is maybe the most stunning trade, definitely that I've been a part of in recent NBA history, as far as it was never clearly out there. And you saw two teams in Rob Pelinka with the Lakers, Dallas Mavericks, Nico Harrison there, doing this deal. And I'm told Luka Doncic, Anthony Davis, LeBron James, the players, coaches, a lot of people on both sides with the Mavericks and Lakers had no idea. I can assuredly tell you it's a fact. LeBron James had no idea this was coming. Anthony Davis had no idea this was coming. I'm told Luka Doncic is still stunned about this trade. But when you look at the totality of what just occurred, Luka Doncic is a 25-year-old, like you said, mega star, perennial all-NBA player. He's someone that you think of as untouchable, as a guy that's never going to be traded. I'm told that the Mavericks actually approached the Lakers and offered Luka Doncic a few days ago in a trade. Very recently, the Mavericks went out. They knew exactly who they wanted. They wanted Anthony Davis. That's the player that if they were ever going to trade Luka Doncic, if this was even a thought that was going to cross their mind, it was for AD. And so the Mavericks called the Lakers, offered Luka Doncic, and that's when the Lakers had to huddle internally. They've never offered Anthony Davis ever in a trade. But if you're going to get offered Luka Doncic, that's when Jeannie Buss, Rob Pelinka, and that organization, they had to meet. And it's Luka Doncic at the end of the day. And they went out, and he's a 25-year-old player. For the next decade, you could look at him as the face of your franchise. And on the other side, with the Mavericks, you have someone who's 31. He's in the prime of his career. He wants to win a championship now, Anthony Davis does. And you pair him with Kyrie Irving, who he's friends with and close with. Jason Kidd coached him on the 2020 championship Lakers. Jared Dudley, there's other members of that coaching staff that he's very close with. And Nico Harrison, he has a relationship with through Nike. So you take the curtains back, and it makes a lot of sense in many ways. But this coming right now, it's the most stunning trade that I've definitely been a part of.
Hello, Lakers fans. This is Wilson. So obviously I'm going to be reacting to the news that is shaking up the sports world, which is the report from last night, news broken by Shams Charania on X, formerly known as Twitter, that the Lakers have acquired Luka Doncic and Maxi Kleber from the Mavericks in exchange for Anthony Davis, Max Christie, and the Lakers' 2029 second round, 2029 first round pick. The Jazz also got a couple second round picks in the deal, so it was technically a 3-team trade. But those were the obviously Luka and AD being the major principles of the deal. Probably the all-time most shocking blockbuster came out of nowhere, especially for it to be an in-season trade. And so I had like a bad gambling night last night, and I locked my phone at 9 p.m. and I kept hearing, my phone kept going off. It kept going off and going off and going off. But I didn't even want to look to see what, because I figured, I was telling Zach Roberts, he had a huge night. He went, he hit for 35 times on Prize Picks, and I tailed him, and somehow I lost money. I don't know how to explain it. And so I'm, down about that. That's why I was staying out recording. Usually I'll record like last week I recorded like right after the game, I think, on Saturday night. And I was thinking about doing it, but I just wasn't in the mood. So, like I said, I locked my phone, and I just wasn't feeling it. And so, I go to sleep. I wake up at 3 a.m., and I decide to check my phone because, like I said, I was getting all those notifications last night. I just heard my phone, buzzing and buzzing and buzzing. And I look, and, my buddy Sark had texted me saying, he said, "Luka's home, baby." And I'm thinking, what? I scroll up, and I see the notifications from ESPN that the Lakers had made this trade. And, so that was 3 a.m. in the morning. I thought, well, should I record right now? And I decided to go back to sleep, give myself some time to sleep on on the trade and let my thoughts really, ferment. Is that the word? Um, really just let them formulate, really. And basically, I woke up this morning. There was a point I was laying in bed and I was thinking to myself, I kind of felt like George Wallace. When George Wallace, when he talks about when Chris Rock slapped Will Smith at the Oscars, and how mad it made him. He just started, started saying F you to everybody with the last name Smith, right? And as I thought about it, I almost started to feel like, bro, I'm just done with the Lakers, because I'm a man of sentiment. I believe in like loyalty, or at least doing good business. So by all accounts, nobody knew that this was happening. They even say that LeBron didn't know, right? And that's something obviously that people are skeptical of, that LeBron didn't know, right? But the official story, I think it was Windhurst who was saying it, or Shams, I don't know, I'm not sure which one was saying it, but that he was, actually that was in the Shams report. In Shams' report, it was that, LeBron was eating dinner and he saw the news and he didn't see it, he didn't know it was coming. And I just think that we're starting to notice a pattern here with the Lakers, of the Lakers doing, making moves that don't really show loyalty and respect to their franchise players. And I can go back to, I wasn't alive, but I know the history, So in '86, I think it was, when, Dr. Buss's way of, how can I call it, administrating. Obviously, he was the owner, but he left the basketball decisions up to Jerry West, right? And then later, he got involved by he got involved like when it was time to trade Shaq. That was more his doing, stuff like that. Letting Phil go that first time because, we were, making a deal, we were in bed with Kobe 100% by that point. Kobe held all the cards. And so that happened. There were, I guess, a few other times, like, the second time we let Phil, when Phil was about to come back in 2012 after the second time he had left. And Dr. Buss stepped in, I think, actually, and nixed that. He went with Mike D'Antoni instead. But basically, for the most part, Dr. Buss would, he would allow his basketball people to make the decisions, and so, especially when it was Jerry West. And so, there was a time in 1986 where it was almost another, Lakers-Dallas trade. The Lakers, Dr. Buss was going to trade James Worthy to the Mavericks for Mark Aguirre, who was Magic's good friend, and Roy Tarpley. Now, the story goes that Magic was, basically Dr. Buss was going to make the trade because Magic was, he was behind it. Like I said, Mark Aguirre was Magic's good friend from Detroit. And Jerry West had to step in and threaten to quit in order to make sure that the trade for the trade not to happen. And then, of course, later on, like I said, trading Shaq. When I know by that point, Shaq was pretty much over it. He felt like they were just, putting all the cards in Kobe's hand, and he didn't want it to be like that. They chose Kobe over Phil and Shaq. So Shaq, I know Shaq at that point, he wanted out. But to me, the whole way that was handled, obviously Shaq deserved more than the way that situation ended up playing out. Then you go to when we, what was the next one after that? Of course, when the Pau Gasol trade. I'm sorry, the Chris Paul trade. So initially, the one that David Stern vetoed. But we had won 2 out of, we had 3 straight finals, 1 back-to-back, didn't win in 2011. Phil retires. And that summer, they're already looking to trade Gasol and Odom for Chris Paul, which I was really livid when that happened. And then of course, they got vetoed. They ended up trading Lamar because Lamar couldn't deal with what he felt like was betrayal. And then they traded Derek Fisher right after that, because they were trying to move on. And so there's a history of this of the Lakers being a little bit too cutthroat for my liking. Don't get me wrong, I love Dr. Buzz, right? But I just don't like that, and I don't like the way they did this. I don't like the way that I feel like everybody was blindsided. For AD to not know, he's been here 5.5 years. Obviously helped us win the bubble title in 2020. Since then, it's been up and down. Obviously, with his injury history, the last 2 years, last year he was healthy. This year he's been pretty healthy, but of course he's down for a week lately after that game against. I forgot who were they playing. I guess it was Philadelphia, right? And so, in my mind, they owed him a little bit more than that, right? Now, if you think about it, Shaq had done more for this organization than AD did. He won 3 straight championships, made the finals 4 times. Gasol and Odom had done more. They won back-to-back championships and made the finals 3 times. AD just made the finals once, and we won in the bubble. But when you think about a player of his stature, like I said, Shaq is someone who, by that point in time, he was ready to go. For AD, for his stature as a player, and it's funny. I saw Bomani Jones say, it's crazy that people are treating AD, they're treating Anthony Davis like he's Dale Davis just to get their point across. AD's 31, he'll be 32 next month in March, right? Still playing all NBA level basketball, and I think he's averaging 25 and 12, 26 and 12, something like that this year. So he's still playing at the top of his game. And you can see the way this team was starting to come together. Since the trade, which initially I thought was looking shaky, the D'Lo for DFS and Shake Milton trade, but you saw the way it was starting to come together. And then he goes down. They say he's going to be reevaluated in a week, and they go into New York last night, even without AD, and they win 128-112. LeBron has a 30-point triple-double, and you're thinking, okay, this is a team that could possibly make a run, and then this happens, right? Now, once you take the sentiment out of it, right, and you look at it just as a pure basketball thing, right? So for this year, it's hard to imagine that there has to be another move coming because the team is completely lopsided now, right? There's basically no size up front. I mean, when AD was here, he wanted another big man to pair with him. I talked about that last week. He's asked for that for years. Now AD is gone, and they basically don't even have any good size basically. So there's going to have to be another move coming, and so what's it going to be? Is it going to be is Austin Reeves now with Luka? I feel like Austin at this point, I'm still on a really good contract that has 2 more years on it after this one. The Lakers got Austin Reeves back for 4 years, $52 million, right? So is he a piece? As much as they talk about how much they love Austin Reeves and value him and stuff like that, I mean, if they can do AD like that, who won't they do it to? You know, they'd probably trade LeBron if he didn't have a no trade clause. You know, if LeBron didn't have a no trade clause, they probably would have traded LeBron to Dallas instead for Luka. You know, and so I don't know. It's just, I mean, obviously, look, they didn't want to trade AD, right? So, the flip side of the coin is that it's one of those things where it's like a once in a lifetime event where a team comes to you, they have a 25-year-old superstar who's made first team All NBA 5 years in a row. They went to the finals last year, and they go, "Hey, you want him? Can we do something?" Obviously, to get a Luka Doncic, you're going to have to give up something great in return. And that's what the Lakers had to do. Obviously, I mean, we'll see how they shape up this year. The way it is right now, you would even wonder if the Lakers played Dallas in the playoff series this spring. Hell, Dallas is probably the more roster-wise, construction-wise, balance-wise. They have Kyrie, they have Clay, and then they have P.J. Washington, and now they have AD, and he gets a center now with Daniel Gafford, which AD always wanted, you know. So they're a balanced team, you know. But the problem that they have is that they have two guys who can't really. It's like AD is like AD. He can be your most talented player, and he can be your best player. But how far can you go if he's your most important player? And Kyrie is kind of in the same boat, right? So a couple of years ago when we made the conference finals, AD was our best player, and he was our most important player, I would say. And we got to Denver and ran into the Joker, who is more of just the Joker as an offensive hub, by himself. And we saw what happened. Last year we lost in the first round, right? When we won in 2020, LeBron was still our most important player. AD was maybe our best or our most talented player by that point in LeBron's career. So that's the problem that Dallas will have, is that they now have basically two guys who, despite all their talent, right, two former number one picks, Kyrie, skill-wise, everybody says Kyrie might be the most skilled guy who ever played the game. And AD, I was just thinking about this, the other night. AD is one of the true, you think about number one overall picks who were unicorns, AD is one of them. Going back to Wilt, Kareem, Magic, Hakeem, David Robinson, Shaq, AD is in that category of guys. LeBron, obviously. AD is that caliber of talent. And I was just thinking that, I was thinking how these are two guys that, I'm thinking about LeBron and AD. For some reason, I was thinking this scenario in my head like just one night ago about how, about the future, and what it would be like after LeBron and AD. When it's time, those moments when in Lakers history when it's like, okay, the future is here now, basically, like it's happened at different points, and what that would look like. But I was thinking about it, when we got LeBron and we got AD a year later. I remember when we won the title in 2020, as we were about to close it out. I think we were up 2-0 or maybe 3-1 in the finals against Miami. And I was listening to Mike Greenberg on that solo show he had on ESPN on the radio. And he was saying, this is obviously just the beginning for the Lakers, right? And that's what everybody thought. Even though LeBron was 35, even at 40, LeBron is still a top 15 player, right? So you have that. And then you have AD, who at that time was what? In 2020, AD was 27, right? So you're looking and going, man, they can run off a string of titles like the Lakers always do, right? And it just never happened. But that was supposed to be, if you look at it, and I was thinking, if you put that duo back, when Shaq and Kobe were winning titles, that's enough. Now, obviously, the health was an issue, but also the fact that just, the NBA is a lot deeper and more talented than it used to be. There was a time back when I was a kid where if you had LeBron and AD on the same team, any years that they were healthy, they were winning the championship, But it's just not like that. And you saw that 2 years in a row when we ran into Denver, even though we had good teams, and AD and LeBron were healthy. So, yeah, man, I just think it's unfortunate because it was supposed to be. It's really been up and down. It was up and down the LeBron and AD era. But I just never in my mind in a million years thought I figured AD. I was more worried about LeBron not finishing his career as a Laker than AD. And I just think that for a player of AD's stature to be blindsided like that and traded and just treated like he was some, second-rate player or something like that, I just think it was bad business. I mean, obviously the guy's here. He's living in LA. He's been here 5.5 years. He's re-upped it. He's re-upped at least once, right? He re-upped after we won the title. I'm sure he's had to re-up again since then. So he's thinking, okay, this is my home. This is where I'm going to finish my career. I'm the future of the franchise. And he's like I said, he's going to be 32, but LeBron is 40. So you're thinking, LeBron has maybe a year or two left, and after that, I'll be the person that we're building around. And instead, now I sit here today on February 2nd, 2025, and AD is a Dallas Maverick, and Luka Doncic. The thing about the Lakers, man, that you have to give them credit for is that there really hasn't been a point since Dr. Bus bought the team, other than those lean years between Magic and Showtime, and then the start of the Shaq Kobe era, and then the lean. It was only 2 years between Kobe retiring and us getting LeBron. So this is a franchise that we're gonna stay with a superstar, and now we have one. And they say that the issue, at least the official rumor, is that Nico Harrison said, he's the GM of the Mavericks. What he said was that defense wins championships, right? And so, but I think what Shams was saying is that the Mavericks were growing increasingly worried about Luka's conditioning, right? And that he was pushing 270 pounds. But it's hard to believe that there wasn't more going on behind the scenes than that, because Luka's always kind of had problems with conditioning. He just kind of plays himself into shape, right? Now, there's clips that I've seen of Luka when he first came to the league, and the way, the type of shape that he was in and the way he was moving was completely different than the Luka that you see now. But still, this is the type of player in Luka that, this is one of those, guys like him just don't get traded. I don't know if there's ever been a time in the history of basketball when a player of that caliber, 25 years old, a superstar, like I said, he's made first team All-NBA 5 years in a row. And the Mavericks traded him without him asking to be traded. I don't think that's ever happened before. Like Kareem wanted out of Milwaukee. He wanted to go either the Lakers or the Knicks. Of course, he came to the Lakers, and the rest is history. But for this to happen, and the official report, at least early on, being that even Luka didn't know this was coming, it's like I said, man, this is unprecedented. in the history of the NBA, man. And I just think it signals a turn in the NBA, where it's like I saw CJ McCollum tweet. He said, CJ McCollum said, you got to keep your bags packed just in case. These days, even the Don, talking about Luka, if he can get traded, So it's like, I don't know, man. This is just it's just bad to me. It's not good. The NBA is different today than it was yesterday, and not just because of the actual logistics of the trade, but because now it's like, who's safe? People like to know what to expect. If Luka Doncic can get traded for Anthony Davis mid-season, what type of stability is there in the NBA? You just wake up every day, and as long as then, unless it's past the trade deadline, you don't know what might happen now. So, yeah, man. Overall, I understand the Lakers are in a better position now. They're set up for their future, but I don't know. I just think that it's and plus, as a Lakers fan, the Lakers have never had a foreign-born player as their best player that I know of, right? I mean, not that I know of. I mean, I just know it. Unless you want to count Vladi, right? But going back, we've always had him. Even when you think about the closest we came is when Powell was our second best player, playing with Kobe. We've always had an American as our, as our superstar, whether it was Magic and Kareem, Shaq and Kobe, LeBron and AD. So this is new territory for the Lakers. I'll see how I feel about it. Not to be xenophobic, but I'm traditional, So now we got this Slovenian kid. He's our best guy. We'll just have to see what happens, man. It's like so Trevor Lane said, let's see what this Lakers roster looks like on Friday. It's no telling what the hell is coming next, but you got to think something is coming, right? So, yeah, man, it's really something, bro. But I wanna thank AD, for what he did, what he brought to the franchise. I know nobody wants to, Dwight Howard's really the only person who ever played for the Lakers, and then was like, you know what, I'm good on this. I can do without this, right? Everybody wants to play in LA and play for the Lakers. Nobody gets here other than Dwight Howard and wants to leave, And I think Dwight mainly left because he didn't want to play with Kobe, right? So and the Mavericks play today against the Cavaliers. Luka wasn't going to play anyway, but I'm just saying, this is absolute madness, I know I'm in the minority here. Every other Lakers fan pretty much is excited about this, I've seen a few other people who are they're in their feelings like I am about AD and LeBron being broken up. But for the most part, Lakers fans are excited. They just got a 25-year-old super duper star, to be the future of the franchise for the next 10 or 15 years. And it happened out of nowhere. And I do think it sucks how most fans, though, everybody, it's weird. Everybody's treating them, first of all, everybody's acting like the Lakers made, like I said, the Lakers got some crazy steal, they got, this is Pau Gasol for Kwame Brown or something like that. Obviously, it's not. And like I said, Anthony Davis is still an all-NBA level player, averaging 25 and 12 or so, So it's silly to act like, AD is Sark called him a depreciating asset. it's like, okay, but he's not. I mean, he's not far gone at all. He's getting up there in age a little bit, but the way the way that the training and the advancements in medicine and stuff like that is, 32 is not. You look at what KD and LeBron and these guys are doing at their age now. Even guys like James Harden and Curry, those guys are still playing at a high level. So you got several good, very good 80 years left if you're the Mavericks, and you have them with Kyrie. Have a good squad around them, and we'll see what they can. We'll see what they can do. I like how Jay Kidd coaches. Maybe the Mavericks, can make a run with this team. But we'll just have to see, man. And like I said, man, I was expecting, okay, like last night I was like, man, I don't want to talk about the Lakers beat the Knicks, right? Maybe I'll talk about it in the morning, or maybe I won't. Who cares? But now that what happened last night in the game is just, it's become obsolete completely. And just you think about it, man. As in this city here, Los Angeles, Lakers fans. I mean, AD has been such a massive piece of the franchise. It doesn't get any bigger. He and LeBron have been the face of the franchise. We're not talking about it. In no way is Anthony Davis a second-rate basketball player. Pau Gasol was a great supporting player. Anthony Davis has made All-NBA first team multiple times. He's made all defensive team first team multiple times. Like I said, this is a first ballot Hall of Famer still in the prime of his career, who's been the co-face of the franchise for 5.5 years. And they just up and at 9 p.m. randomly, we get the word that he's gone. Anthony Davis. Not Rory. We had Rory on the trading block, right? Just like last week, this week. It's like, is Rory going to be the guy who gets moved so we can get that final piece that we need? Instead, they traded AD. So, I don't know. I would have told the Mavericks. The Mavericks reached out to the Lakers. Like I said, the Lakers weren't trying to trade AD. But I would have told them, you know what? Call us back in a couple of years when LeBron is retired, and we'll talk to you. But I wouldn't have done AD like that, man. I don't think that was right. So, with that being said, man, I'm not gonna hold you guys any longer. We're in a new world, and of the NBA, and we'll see what things look like a week from now. Will Austin still be here? Will LeBron still be here? They traded LeBron's boy. The guy that I know LeBron is not exactly like the most loyal person in the world. He just wants to win. He doesn't care who helps him. But yeah, we'll see. I wouldn't be shocked if I got on here a week from now and the Lakers had traded LeBron. Maybe LeBron will request a trade. So, but we do know that something else has to come because the roster is too imbalanced as it is right now. But yeah, man, a crazy night last night, or for me, early this morning when I saw the news. But we'll see how it goes from here. Now, this is another one of those landmark moments, one of those fork in the road moments in Lakers history where it's like, maybe fork in the road wasn't the right phrase, but definitely landmark. Definitely one of those. The Lakers have had more of these type of moments than any other franchise in NBA history. So, but yeah, man, with that being said, man, I'm going to get on up out of here, and I'll talk to you guys next time. Goodbye.